Imagine a monster, not one made of claws or steel, not a monster that roars or leaves bloody footprints in the snow. Imagine a monster that moves like silence itself. It drifts through frozen trenches, slips through crowded train stations, and glides into quiet bedrooms. It chooses a victim. It reaches into their mind, softly presses a finger against the master controls of consciousness, and whispers a single instruction: sleep. Between 1915 and 1927, while the world was consuming itself in the fires of the First World War and the devastation of the Spanish flu, this silent phantom stalked the earth. It struck nearly 5 million human beings. It had no name at first, no cure, no clear origin. Today we know it through the words of the legendary neurologist Oliver Sacks, but before it became a chapter in medical history, it was a living nightmare known simply as the sleeping sickness. Encephalitis Lethargica. This is the story of how it began and how it swept across a world completely unprepared for what was lurking in the dark. The year is 1916. The place, Vienna, Austria. While cannon fire shakes the Western Front, patients start trickling into the clinic of a brilliant neurologist named Dr. Konstantin von Economo. The symptoms are unlike anything Dr. von Economo has ever witnessed. A young woman walks in complaining of a mild sore throat and a slight fever. Nothing out of the ordinary for a chilly Viennese winter. But within 48 hours, something strange happens. Her eyelids grow impossibly heavy. She sits down in a chair to rest and falls into a sleep so profound that nothing can rouse her. Doctors call her name, they shake her shoulders, they shine bright lights into her eyes. Nothing. She isn't dead. Her heart beats steadily. Her lungs fill with air. But her mind has vanished into an uncharted abyss. Elsewhere in the city, another patient presents the exact opposite nightmare. He hasn't slept in 7 days. His eyes are wide, glassy, and terrified. His body twitches with involuntary spasms. He paces his room until his feet bleed, driven mad by an invisible insomnia that no sedative can break. Dr. von Economo realizes he is looking at two sides of the exact same coin, a disease that manipulates the very switchboard of human wakefulness. In 1917, he publishes his findings, calling it Encephalitis Lethargica, an inflammation of the brain that causes lethargy. But his warning arrives in a world consumed by war. Nobody is paying attention, and that is precisely when the fire begins to spread. Diseases usually follow rules. Typhoid spreads through water. Malaria travels on the wings of mosquitoes. Smallpox marks the skin with undeniable scars. Encephalitis Lethargica played by no rules. It had no signature rash, no distinct odor. It struck the young and the old, the rich and the poor, soldiers in combat and mothers at home. By 1918, as troops crossed continents and borders dissolved into chaos, the sleeping sickness hitched a ride. From Vienna, it leapt to Paris and London. It crossed the Atlantic on troop transports, making landfall in New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. It crept across the snowfields of Russia and down into the sun-drenched streets of Algeria and China. It moved like a phantom wave. Try to put yourself in the shoes of a family in 1920. The Great War has just ended. The Spanish flu pandemic has finally subsided. You believe the horror is over. Then, your teenage daughter comes home from school complaining of a headache and double vision. You put her to bed with a cup of warm tea. By morning, you go to wake her, and she cannot look at you. Her eye muscles are paralyzed, her pupils frozen in different directions. Within days, she slips into a twilight realm. She is conscious, yet utterly frozen. Or worse, she sits up in bed, speaking in terrifying, nonsensical loops, hallucinating figures standing in the corners of her bedroom. The fear was infectious. Hospitals set up special sleep wards. Surreal. Quiet rooms filled with dozens of beds, occupied by people who looked like sleeping beauties or living ghosts.